Hi, everybody. My name's Rita Crompton, also known as the Inventor Lady. So in my last video, I talked about non-disclosures or non-disclosure non-competes. And when should you use one and when is it overkill? Go back and take a look at that one. This time, all right, we're going to talk about some of the other things that you might need to put in place. So obviously, non-disclosure is one of the first things because in the early days, you're talking to people. If you are ever holding someone accountable for infringing on you, a judge will ask, did you have them sign a non-disclosure non-compete? And if you say yes, that's your way of holding them accountable. If you say no, and a judge is going to go, well, you weren't real serious about it then, were you? So prior to being able to say that you are patent pending, a non-disclosure or a non-disclosure non-compete is an important piece to have. All right, it's just dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. So that's first one. Next, when I run into, my inventors, they run into people that are trying to force them into a business plan. Well, you don't have a business yet, so cross that one off. A marketing plan. You really don't have anything to market yet. Cross that one off the list. These are time sucks, all right? And sometimes money sucks. Don't go there. Maybe one day you'll be ready, not yet, right? So what is the next one that you at least need to know where you can go to get one? Hi, you can call me. It is a work for hire agreement. Now, in a good work for hire agreement, let's say you're going to hire an engineer to do a rough prototype for you. So you can just kind of get your head wrapped around what you're doing, right? They cannot read your mind. I know that's hard to believe, but they can't see what you want. All right. So you've got to give them something to work with. Now, when we do a product search or a patent search for someone, I always say, you take these things to your attorney, you get the parameter set, and then you go and see an engineer. All right. And yes, you're not patent pending yet, so you want to make sure they sign that non-disclosure agreement. All right. But what are the big things? Well, when you ask an engineer, it's like, well, it doesn't take very long. Well, very long is kind of where it comes into reading your mind. Your idea of not very long might be 2 weeks, theirs might be 2 months. And if you'd put it into a work for hire agreement, you'd have both at least been on the same page, figuratively and literally. So those are some of the blanks that you fill in. Time frames, all right, big deal. Cost, all right, you want them to give you an estimate on exactly what it is. All right, well, if you've taken them pictures from a search and say, okay, my attorney says these are where my parameters are, and this is the rough prototype I made in my garage, and I need it to do this thing. Right. Well, now they can start setting some parameters for you. If you go in and say, well, I need this gadget that's going to do this thing, and I have no pictures, no drawings, and no parameters, they are more than happy to try to read your mind, and they are going to charge you for trying to read your mind. And you're going to be cranky when they didn't get it right, and they're going to charge you again to fix it. That's kind of the way this works, right? So when you go to see the engineer, and most inventors at some point do go to see an engineer. Now, there are some ways to kind of manage the cost on that. You might go to a makerspace, but you still need the NDA or the non-disclosure non-compete. You still need parameters set. You need to be able to show them something, a rough prototype, drawings from an expired patent, parameters from your registered patent attorney, so that they can really start then seeing into what it is you're working on. All right, so if you've had a search done, maybe you take them what you sent in for the search. And then maybe you take in the parameters the attorney said, all right, it's like, show the engineer these photographs. All right, so those are the two early on people that you end up talking to most often: the registered patent attorney and the engineer. Now, if you're having us do that comprehensive independent search done, that's usually first, all right? So you may be talking to me, and I'm going to say, get your registered patent attorney then to set the parameters after the search comes back, and then you go and you talk to the engineer. A good engineer is going to ask you, what did your patent attorney say? All right, they're not going to say, we need to see your business plan. All right, at that point, they don't know what you're doing, and they don't know what they're doing. You don't need a business plan. All right, the last thing, when there were some engineers I dealt with, and they said, well, we need to see the patent that was filed. Well, most of you are not having a patent filed until you at least have a rough prototype. So again, those types of engineers are probably not what you're looking for. Again, don't do a business plan. Don't do a marketing plan. First things in step. search, non-disclosure, non-compete, a work for hire agreement. With your attorney, you have attorney-client privilege, so you don't need the work for hire agreement. If you want a non-disclosure, non-compete, you want a work for hire agreement, shoot me an email. I'm happy to send them to you as a Word document, and then you can make changes as you want to. Okay, those are the biggies up front. Once you are patent pending, all right, now you've got some decisions to make. The next video that we're going to do is going to be talking about getting your head wrapped around what does marketing mean for an inventor on a budget, all right? Because you can spend a lot of money going down that hole. My name is Rita Crompton. Join us for our next video. Have a great day.